Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Waters Above. Hope you're all having an incredible start to your week. In today's video, we're going to focus on this upcoming monthly close for the crypto market, as well as what to expect to begin December. So I'll be sharing some technical analysis on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, and we'll get into the setup for this week. Also, due to popular demand, I am extending my Black Friday sale through Cyber Monday. So if you're interested in learning how to invest utilizing my strategies of combining Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology with technical analysis, or if you're seeking a coaching course for expanding consciousness, health and wellness, and developing skills with my newest expansion Mastermind course, or would like to learn how to trade the market, all of my courses are on sale now at watersabove.com/Black Friday, and you can use the promo code Black Friday at checkout. The promo code is written all as one word and all lowercase. You could also find the discount information in the description of this video and in the pinned comment below. Been getting tons of feedback lately about my courses, so I really appreciate all your support. I'm grateful for every single one of you. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious beings to help grow our community. And with that being said, let's take the red pill. So we're going to be kicking things off with some dates, but just a quick reminder about today being the day leaving 33 days left in the year, number of transmutation, as well as tomorrow being the 333rd day of the year, number associated with the Ascended Master. And this day is actually going to be 22 days since the start of the recent lunar eclipse. So that lunar eclipse was technically on the 8th, but that energy kicked in on the 7th. So that 22 number, definitely important, master builder, master destroyer, and that being connected to the 333rd day of the year, definitely something that's important because we saw what happened around this energy from the 7th through the 9th, lots of volatility in the market, the FTX ritual happening, and everything else that's unfolded since then. So this week actually is leading us into our monthly close this Thursday. So that'll be right there, Wednesday being the final day of the month, transition into our monthly open for December 1st. So this date is actually critical because December 1st is tying us back to Rosh Hashanah, which was the end of the Shemitah year, the 7-year sabbatical year cycle. And we're going to be getting into a couple number connections really quickly, but being 66 days apart is definitely important, big power number, as well as remember Rosh Hashanah was the 77 date numerology with the way that we like to do our date numerology. And we're going to make a quick connection here coming back to the number 23 with the Jubilee. Remember Jubilee giving us that 23 in the Chaldean cipher. We are now in the Hebrew year of 5783 giving us 23 in Chaldean, and Bitcoin giving us that 23 in Chaldean. And that number 23 is very important because it is the 9th prime number, and I'll be showing you a number 9 connection be getting into in a moment. But before we do that, let's consider that I do have a key date to share with you also. I would love for your insights below. If you all have any other ideas behind December 4th, please share it in the comments. Any decoders in our community, anyone who has any exoteric or esoteric information, would love to hear feedback from the Wolfpack. So this is the date that I'm keeping my eyes on. One of the important dates, of course, tied to Rosh Hashanah, the Hebrew New Year. You could see the 26th of September by 69 days. And this 69 is the yin yang. It's very important, especially since we saw Bitcoin hit $69,000. So that is the all-time high for Bitcoin. And we know that Rosh Hashanah is also the day leaving 96 days in the year. That's just the mirror of the number. In alchemy, you're always mirroring, not mimicking. So the Queen just died at 96 years old after her Platinum Jubilee, and her Platinum Jubilee was her 70th year as Queen. So this is very, very important because you see that 69 and that 96 connection, as above, so below. And of course, this date numerology of Rosh Hashanah giving you the 23, just like we connected that before back to Jubilee with the 23. But this date is definitely interesting. One other thing to mention is a connection to Ripple and XRP. So this is even more information to add to it, with it being 27 days left in the year, and the 58 date numerology, the way that I like to do my date numerology with double digits. And you're getting that 58, which ties us back to XRP, of course. And then you're getting that 27 days left in the year, which ties us back to Ripple with 27 in Chaldean. And this is profound. This is actually quite important. I was predicting, and I don't like using this word loosely, but I was predicting that the year of 2023 is going to provide a lot of clarity for the world regarding the ecosystem, regarding finances, just all things that come back to money, commerce, the economy as a whole, whether that be things with the Federal Reserve System or, the World Bank, IMF, etc. I do see change coming. And we're all quite aware of the quantum system in the background, how blockchain technology will be implemented. We know about it regarding the paperwork behind the scenes, but we haven't really seen it take action in the public yet. And we're in that phase of slowly watching the carpet unravel, and it's unraveling beneath our feet. We're seeing lots of chaos and volatility in the markets lately. We know Ripple is a big part of this conversation. So that's why I'm giving you guys all this information, and I'm keeping Ripple in mind, and the ISO 222 coins, I'm keeping them in mind. For anyone who's unaware, I recently just came out with a Red Pill podcast last week about the ISO 222 coins. I dedicated an entire podcast to that. So, it is a big part of my own personal investment thesis. But just to, quickly wrap up this stream of consciousnness, I really see 2023, the year of the Jubilee, as I'm calling it, to be a year of clarity regarding finances and the whole ecosystem of finances as a whole. So would love to know some of your thoughts in the comments about that as well. Now, I shared with you this 58 connection and the 27 connection, absolutely something to consider with ties to Ripple. We know that 27 also ties to Jupiter, which is one of the bigger connections here with Ripple and Jupiter. Who is Jupiter? It is Zeus, the king of the gods. Keep that in mind, okay? So moving on, December 4th, profound connection here, and this will actually be the transition date that takes us into the 49th week of the year. So right here we can see that December 4th is on a Sunday, and that will pivot us into the 49th week of the year on December 5th. The number 49 is so important because it's 7 squared, 7 times 7, and that is the Jubilee. So when we have a 7-year cycle, that is the Shemitah, the Sabbath year. And then on the 50th year of the 7 cycles of 7, it's practicing Jubilee. So I believe the next 2 weeks in the crypto market are very, very important, guys, especially with the 49th week of the year being the week with the full moon of December. Absolutely profound, and we will be sharing more on this in a couple days. We're just going to let this all unfold as we get through this monthly close, and then I'll be definitely following up and making a new video for you guys. So this connection here with that 49th, it's a perfect connection because the Queen just had her Platinum Jubilee, as I said moments ago, 70th year as the Queen. The start of the 49th week of this year is 70 days since Rosh Hashanah. So how perfect is that? When you take from Rosh Hashanah to the start of the 49th week of the year, we get 70 days. Just an amazing connection, and we can't call this coincidence anymore. So I'm definitely keeping my eyes on this window of energy of the 4th of December and the 5th of December. And another thing that makes me really interested in this date of the 4th of December was it was the all-time high for Bitcoin, closure all-time high for Bitcoin back in 2013. So if you remember that cycle, which probably few of you were involved in, but Bitcoin went on this massive super cycle that took us from less than a penny all the way up to over $1,000. And this daily closure high happening on December 4th of 2013, just massive, and that's definitely something to consider because that was 9 years ago. So this will be moving into the 9-year cycle since that date. And let me just show you really quickly with this 2013 connection back to 2022, and you can see 9 years. And look at that. It happened on the 27th day of the year with a 49 date numerology. just so amazing how this all came to fruition as it did. So Bitcoin, of course, tied to Jupiter, tied to Saturn, tied to the sun, tied to all this energy with the mythologies. And that's why when Bitcoin moves, it moves everything else. And that's been a big piece of my work. Whether you don't own any Bitcoin or not, if you realize what I'm teaching you here, you can apply it to your own investment thesis. You don't necessarily need to own any specific coin. Just invest in what you believe in. Do your due diligence in regards to your own investment thesis and apply your knowledge accordingly. Take action with the knowledge you have. So I love this connection back to December 4th of 2013 with the 9 years and the 9 being the number of completion. So maybe we could actually anticipate a bottom for the Bitcoin chart on December 4th. So we're going to be getting into this idea here by coming into the current market cycle we're in, and we're going to zoom into this idea that we just shared a moment ago of December 4th, December 5th. Now, December 4th being a Sunday, that's a little wonky because the traditional markets would be closed that day. So consider the 5th being the monthly open, and the stock market will be open, excuse me. And that could be something to consider. So Bitcoin could actually have a very volatile day on the 4th. We have Forex, the Dow Jones, precious metals start playing into this picture later, right before the daily close. So the whole energy of this transition between the 4th and 5th, it's something to consider, but the 5th particularly being a Monday, we have all the markets are open and operating all at the same time. So the idea here was 9 years ago, we had Bitcoin hit an all-time high on that date, perhaps because we're entering the full moon on December 7th. We're getting into that full moon energy. That would be a perfect time to have a bottom. And then think about what we were talking about with the number 69 and how that's the yin yang, that's the balance number. We could be achieving this overall balance. And if I was to zoom out on this entire chart and show you what's up, I think you're going to see kind of what's going on here. So we have one cycle on the bottom, one cycle on the top. And if we were to flip this over on top of this, it would almost be like a yin yang. You know what I mean? Like it would be like a full completion, going from prior all-time high to bear market bull to new all-time highs, what we would call buying climax, double top, followed by returning down to this prior cycle, this is the first time Bitcoin has ever done this. Bitcoin hasn't done this in the past. It would typically hit a new all-time high, and then it would never dig deeper into the prior high cycle. So you had 2013, and we just never returned back. Let me just show you a weekly chart to give you more of an idea. So hit the top, and when we came into a bear market, we only came down to $3,000, whilst the prior all-time high was sitting at $1,200. So this is very interesting, and of course it's hard to make these claims without too much chart data. We only have about 13 years of data for Bitcoin, and anyone who studies the stock market, as I have, being a Wyckoff trader and a student of Richard Wyckoff, and even teaching the Wyckoff method alongside my more esoteric analysis, that's 100 years of tried and true method and strategy. And even I could admit it's hard to do TA sometimes on these charts where we only have a decade. And Bitcoin is really the best we can do. A lot of the coins we've been looking at lately in my Red Pill podcasts, which my supporters vote on, those coins have 3 years of data, 2 years of data. It's quite difficult to have spot on TA when you don't have the past to analyze. So with Bitcoin, we're doing our best, but it's pretty amazing to watch how everything's unfolded since the Shemitah and this recent lunar eclipse, which we knew we would have a drop in the market. And I was very adamant in my last video that I put out for people to relax, to wait for this market to come to us, because even though we had this big buyback candle, we had this slow, arduous move to the downside to fill out the initial crash of November 9th. And I was telling people to get prepared for that. And now here we are where we're having a little bit of an M pattern showing up, moving into this full moon energy very soon. And as I shared in my last video, we have a 5-day window, either plus or minus. We have 5 days around a new moon is bullish, 5 days around a full moon is more bearish. We saw the new moon right here moving into this energy, topping out and then coming back down as we leave the energy. Now we're heading into that full moon, and it gives us a little bit of a range to consider. So we have a daily close low at 15,770. I do think there's an opportunity for us to roll back over down to 15,000, and let's see how we trade in that range, because if we start closing on new lows, if we start closing below 15,500, I do anticipate Bitcoin to swipe into 14,000 and perhaps even as low as 13,000. Now, the reason for this is it's the prior automatic rally from this cycle. We have the buying climax, selling climax, automatic rally, and this moment right here getting back tested would be a typical move. So if I pull up the fibs here, you're going to see something going on where I have a fib from the all-time high of the last cycle to the swing low, and right there getting rejected at the 786. And take note that this is on a logarithmic scale. Well, that's a very normal level for us to get, rejected at. So coming down into 13,300 would not be weird. I have a little marker here for 13,700 because that's the 137, and 137 is the 33rd prime number, and it's just a very special number. It's a number that's powerful, and I would not be surprised if we did swipe into that significant number, but that's just part of my more experimental analysis, and perhaps it could help some people out. Now, if we do make moves down there, I suspect it's going to be like a wick. And it's most likely going to have to happen in either December or the January full moon. And it would make a lot more sense for it to happen in December. So keep that in mind. We're getting very, very close to a potential new opportunity. We just have to see how it all plays out. So looking at this pattern, I do remember showing you guys we had a little bit of a bear pennant that I said I anticipated to flip into a bear flag. So far that's playing out. We've been getting rejected continuously along the top side of that flag. Now we're returning back somewhere in the heart line, and that's definitely time to anticipate us to reach the bottom of that support, sitting around 15,500. So keep that in mind for downside targets, and then also keep in mind the larger downside target, which I shared moments ago. And now some of you may be asking, Waters, do you think we're going to go lower than 13,000? It's it's less likely. Of course, anything's possible in the matrix, but I'm more leaning on the idea that we're approaching the finality of our selling climax within the next 30 days. Pretty much it's going to happen before the full moon of January, and I have more to gamble, I would say. Like, I'm gambling more on the full moon of December, which is coming up very soon. I don't like making those statements because I know people get like a little bit emotional about it. Like, the wolf pack is as calm as can be right now. I'm just letting you know, based on the cyclical data and the way markets typically react, there's most likely going to be a pivot in this market somewhere around December 14th, whether that has to deal with the Federal Reserve or it has to deal with the upcoming new moon. It's irrelevant for us. I just think that the upcoming full moon is going to be powerful and something to pay a lot of attention to. So consider us pivoting into that energy now. And any closures below those levels of 15,500, there would be likelihood of us heading into 14,000, perhaps a wicks into 13,000, and we will take it from there as the days progress. So let's move into, and last thing would be upside targets, which I'm not seeing as likely at this moment, but upside targets would be conditions above 16,700, probably capable of getting into like 17.1, 17.2, but I think there's a little bit of a sell wall at 17.5, and anything above 17.5, then we're going to get back to 19 very quickly. So 17.5-ish is probably the region of an initial rejection. And I would rather see, again, the markets won't do what I want, but I would rather see us roll over first and then come up into that 19, 20,000 in that order. I think that'd be a lot healthier for this market to have one more washout, and a technical washout, not like a ritual they could blame, like what they did with SBF and FTX, like just a natural technical lower volume washout. And then our recovery will commence from there, leading into about March or April of 2023. So I've given you guys a lot of gems, take notes while you're watching this, a lot of information. ETH definitely doing what we anticipated, just holding in this bottom range. So I know this chart is a little bit messy. Let me show you this chart is way cleaner and better. So we have that lower range, just continuing to fill that out. I think 1070 is a nice level on the downside. We're most likely going to meet that condition first before upside. And then on upside, it's 1250. That level right there has been multiple rejections ever since we broke down. It was playing as a tight little range of support, but that was short-lived. And overall, we're just having a continuation of a downtrend with lower highs. So I would more than likely suspect we do get a $1,000 Ethereum in early December. That'd be very likely, and that'd be an amazing opportunity, I think. And if Bitcoin is going to roll over and we get those conditions for Bitcoin breaking 15,000, well, I think that's where you're going to see your sub 1,000 Ethereum. And in that move, you're going to see both Bitcoin and Ethereum as they have a little washout. It's going to bring even more pressure to the overall altcoin market. But in response to that, you're going to see a rebalance of the Bitcoin and Ethereum dominance. And then that's why I think it's a very healthy correction, because you want to see more balance in this market, and the shitcoin market just needs to get washed away. Anyone who's a sophisticated investor in this market knows what I'm talking about. So we need to get a lot of those nonsense cryptos and nonsense companies without working technologies. They just need to get washed out. And this is the process. It's arduous, it's slow. And that's why paying attention to these top projects as we are week by week is critical. So downside looking at about $1,000 if we start to close below 1,100, and then conditions to the upside are less likely, but 1360 is definitely in the cards if we're just going to have a volatile swipe to the upside for whatever reason. But again, my conditions are pointing downside first, upside after. Now let's move on to XRP, because something happened that I kind of warned everyone about, which was the idea of us gravitating back towards this trend line. I shared that on my last YouTube video, and it actually did come to fruition. I was saying that I would not expect targets much higher than about 44. We came up to almost 42 cents, and that was a little shocking for some people, because I know when I made that video, we were still sitting in like the mid 30-cent region. And I was also following that up with saying that if we're going to get back into this territory, we're probably just going to get rejected and roll over into the December full moon. And so far, that's all playing out nicely. So I would like us to see another swipe to the downside for XRP into like 31 cents. I know some people are like, but Jordan, but don't worry about this, guys. Like, this coin needs to chop around for a little longer until the overall crypto market has this recovery. Having a shitcoin market wash out will make XRP and the ISO 222 coins have even more purpose and have more eyes on them, and that is a good thing. So don't worry. In the short term, I know a lot of the XRP community is super patient by now. You've been dealing with the waiting game. If you were following my work and you were trading this coin, you were taking action, you could have prospered quite a bit. But now that you're here and you're paying attention, ever since this lunar eclipse came in, I think a lot more XRP people started seeing the importance of Gematria and Numerology, Astrology, implementing it with this market. And the TA is solidifying it even further with some of our targets that we hit. But now that we're in this stage, we do need to just get through Q4, transition us into the 2023 year, and then we could rebuild then. But for now, seeing a little bit of a move to the downside, building out more support in the 30-cent region, and then even if Bitcoin was to start sliding to lower levels, seeing a 28 cent or lower XRP would be gorgeous. I would absolutely love to scoop up some sub 27 cent XRP. I'm not going to wait around for that. If the market starts giving me structure and conditions that are showing me that's not going to happen, then it is what it is. You got to take what the market gives you. But overall, I would be very, very excited about that because I know that would just be an incredible opportunity for what's to come potentially in March and April of 2023, where I would anticipate seeing a $1 XRP again. So getting back to the short term, this was a textbook rejection followed by some moves to the downside, holding around 37 cents. I do consider conditions about 35 or less during the full moon, most likely around 33 cents again into this support level around 31.5. So that support level right there is key. I would draw that on your charts if I was you. Upside conditions, less likely to get back into anything above 45 at this time, more likely downside before upside, as I said, with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to let this market play itself out, see how the Dow deals with what it just did recently by slightly breaking above the high on the structure. So this downtrend has actually flipped and reversed, but this is a very, very tight move. So I would not be gambling on this. We see that there was the lower lows, and then we had this high in structure and now another high after that lower low. That's a pretty impressive move for the Dow, and we're not really seeing the same action on the Nasdaq or the S&P. So this just looks like an isolated ritual on the Dow, and I see this being a bull trap, which will trap people in high, and then most likely you're going to see a sell-off following into January, February, March for the stock market. For crypto, I think we'll be on recovery by late February. So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to get too much involved in too much information. I just want things to play itself out. I appreciate every single one of you for hanging out through this video. Again, I will be keeping this Black Friday sale on my courses available through this Cyber Monday into tomorrow night. And if you're somebody who's interested in learning technical analysis the way that I do it in these videos, this is the Crypto Mastermind course. That will be beginner level, intermediate level. It's going to get you caught up in how to do TA the way that we do it. And it gives you lessons on Gematria, Numerology, Astrology applications with the TA. And then this new expansion mastermind, I actually just added a new chapter to it. So if you're somebody who's interested in the skill mastery chapter, if you've been waiting on that, it is now available. I have 10 new videos I just added to this course, giving it even more value. The price overall did not change by adding this new chapter, so it's the same price as it was, but right now you guys get a discount. So if you want to take advantage of that, it's watersabove.com/Black Friday, or you could click this button up here on my website and then Black Friday promo code at checkout. So I appreciate every single one of you. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day in the Matrix. Much love.